Good morning, everybody. You're welcome to another amazing and interesting episode of Just a Chat with me, Alabi. I'm so excited to be here again today, and I'm not here alone as usual. I have my amazing sisters here, beautiful looking, they're just looking so hot this morning. So I have my sister here who are going to join me. So let them introduce themselves again, in case I want their names to ring your ear. So
hello everyone, good morning. My name is Yetunde Owolewa Alao, and I'm the creative director and CEO of Aledamu Fashion.
Okay, good morning everyone. What a beautiful morning. My name is Apostle Yakin, and I'm CEO Avalon Kitchen and Shoppers Corner. Thank you so much.
Good to have you here. Aledamu, you are looking so pretty.
Thank you.
I love this.
Thank you.
And you have a very good dress sense.
Aww.
I feel like you're Israel.
Thank you very much.
She rep what she does. If we're supposed to rep what we do, as in, what would you have brought here? I would have brought my own food. And then there are
food, everything I can shop.
But today, we can't do that on the show here. But she's able that can really portray what she does, and you are really doing amazing.
Thank you.
So good to have you all here on YouTube and also on Facebook once again. And without wasting much time, we have the continuation of the topic we've been talking about last week, which is raising a child in the 21st century. And the subtopic we started last week from that is how to heal the inner child. We're going to talk about that, and I'm not going to do it alone. We are going to talk about it also, because I believe we all have an inner child in us, an inner child that is crying for more, an inner child that needed that feel, that is experiencing that childhood feel again, even as an adult. So as an adult, how do you heal your inner child? Because this is going to help you to prepare yourself as a parent of a 21st century children. So let me start from my ladies here. The inner child. You know where we ended last week, talking about how to heal the inner child. But I think maybe we should just do the summary again. Was the inner child, and now we can just carry people that really missed the last episode. Sorry, you can also watch the replay of the last episode on our YouTube channel at Olubumi Alabi. Just watch the replay so I can see. Inner child. Yesterday, so what do you feel about this inner child? And if you really get to understand this inner child, have you really experienced this inner child yourself? I think we talked more about this, last week about inner child. So let me hear what you have to say.
Okay,
about the inner child.
Thank you very much. Healing the inner child. I'm not going to continue from that. I'm just going to say this first. I think 60 to 80% of Nigerians do not even know, or maybe adults do not even know that they are dealing with trauma. And that is why healing the inner child might be a little bit difficult.
Because you can't heal what you don't know.
So until you're able to identify and define and be aware that you have a problem, you cannot heal the inner child.
Wow, that's amazing. Until you identify that there's a problem. Yes, what you don't know, you can't heal. So the first thing is identifying that you have a problem. Okay, thank you very much. So what can you say about the inner child?
For me, I'll start by saying, for what we did last week, I was going to make a statement last week. Nothing goes wrong, it actually starts wrong. So for everything we're going through, if we're able to, there was something you said the other time when they were talking, that if you're able to trace what is happening to you to the roots of where it started from, then you can now sit down and say, okay, this issue that I'm going through, it actually started from somewhere. For example, a woman that is not able to express herself in marriage actually started from when it was a child, because you're not given the ability to express yourself. Even when you express yourself, you're cut down, you're cut low. So that inner person inside of you, the social life inside of you, actually dies from a child. I would tell a mother, if a child is a child, don't bring out the motherhood part and I say you must carry your sister, you must be an adult. Those things actually kill a lot.
Maybe putting responsibility
Too much
on
responsibility on a female child or a male child, trying to make them be a man when they're a child or a woman when they're supposed to grow to be who they're supposed to be.
But don't you feel it's always good sometimes? Maybe we put that so much responsibility on the first child.
Seriously.
As is expecting, because I remember saying something like maybe your first daughter was saying, "Mommy, why do I have to be the one to bear the blame? Why do I have to be the one to carry a lot of responsibility?" Don't you know that helps them to grow up, to be responsible for their...
It helps them. But there should be a limit
to what we put on them, or maybe limit to our expectation from them.
We expect so much. The firstborn is sick now. You're still expecting that child when you know you can actually help the child to work at home, to do the responsibility. I tell her you have to come out of it. You have to take your responsibility. As a mother, be a mother. Then as a child, I'll help the child to become the mother she's supposed to be. Not forcing,
grow into
motherhood. Don't force her and kill her emotion, her social life. You're supposed to be with her friends, and at that point, you're not giving her any room to socialize. You're forcing her to be the mother. You want to go for a party, you're allowing her to stay with your last child, with her siblings. I'll tell you, I went through it, and it killed a lot of my social life.
Okay, you took care of your siblings or your younger
my mom had a, I want to say that because going life, my mom had a bit of mental issues that she couldn't do a lot of things. So being the child that was at home, I had to do a lot of responsibility for my brothers. It killed a lot of my social life. So I wasn't that kind of social person until today. I'm not.
It affected your adulthood.
Yes.
The way you
sometimes I don't want to play. Sometimes I don't want to. Like someone told me this morning, sometimes you can too serious, and that's how I grew up to be. I am trying to come out of it.
So definitely that one, it shows that there's an inner child in you that wanted to enjoy that child with that freedom as a child, not to carry too much burden on you, because it has deprived you a lot of things you should enjoy as a child.
A lot.
And that's why we are here. Like I said, this thing we're discussing is about us too. We all need healing. In one area or the other, we all need healing. At least from your side, you have identified that, okay, you never enjoy your social life because you were deprived of your childhood. Okay, I think
I'm sorry. I would like to come in from that issue of the first child, because I'm the first child in my family.
I'm the last child.
Okay. So I'm the first child in my family, but I would say that it didn't really affect me negatively. I think it was more of the positive side for me, because I think being the first child in my home and having to take care of some responsibilities actually helped me. I think he molded me to be part of who I am today, because he helped me to be responsible. Let me just use it that way. And he helped me to understand that I am responsible for somebody, which I know. I mean, it's a part of me today. So it really helped me positively than negatively.
Yeah, and there are a lot of people that are affected positively and also negatively. That's where the healing has to come in, because I think we're going to talk about how to now heal from that, because you have to understand the reason why you have to go through that. If you don't understand the reason, then you won't see the positive side of what you went through. Because you just see it from the angle of, it's like she hated me, it's like they put too much load on me, it's like I have a lot of pills on my head, it's like they see me as a superhero, whereas I needed help myself. So that's where you have to understand the reason why you went through that and the reality. Compare what you went through and the reality. Is it because they hated you, or is it because there was no other option? Because if you had not done it, there wouldn't have been anybody that would have done it.
But I'm not the first. I'm actually the king. But I had a lot of responsibilities because I was responsible. So you took
it on, so you could have said, I don't want to do it.
Exactly. Okay. And they always celebrate me because our boss is always the boss.
And I'm sure you might be looking at it from that angle, but I envy that part of you, because that has really built your resilience to be able to do something. You know, you built that strength to tolerate people, to tolerate some things. You know, it might have its own negative side, but it still has its strength, its flaws that I really compare, I admire it in you. So, and part of your healing is to know that there are people that really admire that in you and they love it in you. So when you celebrate your win, you celebrate what you think is a weakness to you. You know, you see yourself more. You build confidence in what you have. Strength. Yeah, it's your strength. So let me divert a bit to something that is trending currently, because that has to do with inner child, because you have to just think, you know, that okay, where has this stemmed from? Where did it start from? The issue of Osinachi, I believe everybody heard about that story. And you know, you were saying something recently that there are some emotions that as a child you were being conditioned to believe or to accept some things. And there's some wounds you went through as a child that grew up into adulthood, that it makes you to abhor some things, to abhor some personalities of people in your life, and you know you can't really express yourself. Because what I could see in that woman from the stories I heard, we heard different stories. Let me just say briefly now, so I can just talk about your whole view about her case. You know, she was in an abusive relationship, but perhaps because of the image of the husband, she didn't want the husband to look like a bad person. She still loved the man. She tolerated a lot of things just in the name of, okay, he will change. Because I heard the pastor said he didn't know about the old issue, that people that she confided in, he begged them that they shouldn't tell the pastor, that they should pray for them that he will change. So it's like perhaps growing up, she went through some wounds as a child that made her to accommodate some abuse, and to maybe as she went through a kind of guilt wound or shame, abandonment wound, you know, trust issue, neglect wound, you know, all this wound as a child, you know, it made you to see that okay, it's like nobody like me, I'm not enough. So the man that I see as a confidant, let me just give him my love. Let him just accept him. You understand? So she did see value in her. She didn't see that okay, she deserved more. She didn't see that okay, I don't deserve to be treated this way. So it's like she grew up to accommodate those abuse, because you know I couldn't really fathom that how would somebody be treating me? As you just don't even raise your hand at me. Just say some verbal, because abuse starts from being verbal. Because I don't want you when you raise your hand at someone. Just be verbal. Say something negative that will bring me down. I know you are abusing and I know that you don't deserve me. So I think that thing stemmed from when she was a child, and she grew up to that, not to be able to express herself or to fight for her right. So what's your own observation from the whole scenario?
Okay, for me, I would like to focus on the husband first.
Okay. Yeah, it's the one that carries the bulk of the yes. So no matter what, I would like to focus on the husband.
Because I've seen situations, I've had friends, I have a particular friend who, you know, till day she's no longer in the relationship, but then this guy would take a cutlass, the flat part of a cutlass, and beat her, even while she was pregnant. And this guy would say that he would say it all to everybody. I saw my father doing it to my mother.
That is the issue of wounded children, because those children
damaged children.
Because the firstborn said something. Said my daddy said it is good to beat him.
Yes.
So like those children, they need.
He's already practicing.
Yes. You know, he already has that mindset that women deserve to be beaten by their husband.
Yeah.
So
for them to
he's growing up to be an abuser, as he's growing up to be a narcissist. That one is for sure. So those children,
I don't know how you want to be honest. I don't know how you want to, because that relationship wasn't the guy's first relationship, wasn't the second relationship, and now the lady has gone, and we don't know what the other person is going through presently.
Okay, it has not the wives.
No, I mean not wives. He was in a previous relationship, then the lady that didn't work, and now there's somebody else, because the lady had to run for her life. You know, but she was there until she had a child. But I don't know, she had to run for it when she saw that it's either this guy will kill me or because they could not cop the guy.
Okay,
I mean,
let me hear your home view about it.
Okay, from what you said now, I will tell every woman, when you see that a guy is going out of relationship, sit down, find out why did that lady move out. If you realize it's an abusive relationship, please don't step in. Because it's not easy to change a man. You cannot teach an old dog a new style. So you rather be patient and look for someone that have never been abusing a woman, and you probably go for that person. Then secondly, talking about this whole issue, I think the woman is not just protecting her husband, she's also afraid of the society.
yes.
Yeah, what will
people say? But sometimes when you know that, and the pastor does not know about it, when you know that there are people that can fight for you, please come out and say what you're going through. Not people that will make jest of you, it's for people that you know that can stand in for you. Because if you are told, like the story I read this morning, is saying that pastor said all the hospitals they went to, that she had been complaining of the heart problem before now. Wow. And they have been treating heart issues. So it wasn't that it was a sudden thing. So if you have somebody that you can confide in and will stand in for you, please don't keep quiet. Come out and say it so that they will fight for you. Not because they want to kill your husband, but because they want to fight for you and your children and to help you. The society cannot kill you. They will only talk. Social media will only
gossip. And that's all.
Please don't kill yourself. Don't die.
Okay, sorry. Let me say this. I read a post on Facebook, and there's this group called, I don't know if I'm correct. I think I saw a super mom group.
Super mom.
Yes.
I saw it and I was disgusted. Like, to be honest, these are damaged women. Because how can you come out and say, oh, help me, my daughter, my husband, my daughter has been abused by the stepdad, who is my own husband, and I don't know what to do, I left the marriage, and these women are saying, do not leave the marriage, go back and beg your husband, but chase your child away, crying out loud, like the child is called,
When I saw that, I felt so disgusted. Are these women, people that are raising children, as in generation, as in what kind of training are we?
We don't have a straight in life. I've realized that we don't have a total straight answer to an issue. We should always do what works for you. If it's not working for Mr. A, then let's work for Mr. B. We're not talking about Christendom here. That's why I don't want to go more into the Bible. But please, pastors can also help you. It's not all pastors that will tolerate. The pastor in question has always been preaching against maltreating a woman, violence in the home. So I'm sure if she had gone to meet Pastor Eneche, he wouldn't have been silent about the issue. He would have done something.
But I think there would have been gossip in the church.
Well,
that's it.
I would like to just address
like
this
I said,
issue.
the choir head when the pastor did.
See, I would like to address this issue now as a society. Who are the society? Everybody. We are the society. How do we treat issues like this? When people come to you, if people come to you and they confide in you, how do you handle them? As in, are you somebody that hears someone else's story and you take it to someone else and you just gossip about it? Or maybe what kind of advice do you give people? How do you perceive people that confide in you and tell you about their weakness? So society starts from you, how you respond, how you react to things. It matters a lot because the way you react will determine whether the person is going to be healed or not. Because people are really blaming her that why next time some people might not come out again. You see that most women are coming out.
No.
In fact, a lot of pastors are coming out, people that have that fear. What would society say? Okay, somebody said something that if she had chosen to go out of that marriage, if she had chosen to go out of that marriage, that would people have reacted the same way?
No, the mom came out and said she went out of the marriage.
That she went out of
yes,
the
for
marriage.
like a year. Okay. Then the husband brought some pastors to beg. Then she came back, and that was where this issue happened.
Well, what I know is that it's about you.
Yes.
Nobody can force you if you're not ready. If you are the one going to the place, it's not the pastor, it's not the church. They will go their ways, and you will be there again. You know what you are facing as a woman, And this is not really only for a woman, like I said, you know,
Yes.
we want to just balance things of men to go through.
Yes, they do.
They go through it, but people really don't talk about it. But I know maybe over some weeks after this time, maybe some other time on this show, we're going to talk about abusive, as men that are going through abusive relationships. And if possible, I could even bring someone that has gone through that here, let's to talk about it. But let's just hit the nail on the head now and talk about, okay, how to heal now as an adult, you know, as a man that is going through abuse, that is going through trauma, as a woman that is going through trauma. You know, a lot of people that are going through this, you know, like I said, there are so many wounds that a lot of us have gone through that is showing up even in our relationship now, in our marriage, you know, that like abandonment wound. A lot of young children, they've been abandoned perhaps by broken homes, like that, as if the father was not there, the mother was not there. And even some children went through some trauma, as in, you know, trauma could be like big trauma, like maybe abuse, sexual abuse or some, maybe or physical abuse, and it could be like maybe just neglect. Like a child that always complained that, oh, my parents were not there for me in school. They don't even come to check me on. Maybe they just hang out for program for PTA. They've never shown up. Some parents might even abandon their child and boarding out, and you know that has really caused a lot of trauma for that child, because that child will grow up to be the kind of thick skin that, okay, nobody really cares for me. I'm not loved. And if that child should grow up into an adult and he still experience the same thing, maybe from his or her spouse, maybe the spouse just leave her for a while, he will feel, because when he was a child, he has that mindset that it's like, my parents didn't like me, they didn't care for me, they were not there for me. So he has that mindset, he's wounded already, he has that abandonment with like, okay, nobody really cares. So if he's now married and maybe the spouse is now busy with something else and he's not there for that child, you know, there's no way that's
going to see it as a norm.
Yeah, as a norm, okay, it's like this person doesn't really care.
Yeah.
You understand? But one of the ways that I realized to heal that kind of wound is, okay, identify where don't they really love me? Because that's not the truth. It's not the reality that, okay, the parents, maybe they were busy with their work, they prioritize something else to that child's welfare. So now that the child is now married, is grown up to be an adult, if he sees that wound again, he will feel like, okay, my spouse is not there for me, he didn't love me. So number one thing is to identify the reality. Is it true that he or she doesn't love you or not? So that's one of the ways, okay, as an adult that has gone through that kind of abuse, that's one of the ways to heal up. You understand? So now, what other ways do you think such a person can get healed, as that has gone through a lot of wound as a child, like trauma, like abuse, you know? Like some people, when they see their maybe some their abuse, maybe when they are abused as a child, and when they grow up to still see that person, that trauma still come fresh. So how do you think someone like that can heal up from that kind of wound?
Okay, that's a
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. One, speak out.
Speak out.
You've gone through something, say it out and let it go if you can. A lot of people that are able to come out of their trauma, abusive life, are people that have come out to say, I've gone through this and this is what I have done. Someone else can learn from me. You understand? So ability to speak out. Then secondly, ability to talk to yourself. I've gone through it, but I know that the best of me can come out. I do a lot of that to myself, and I call it talking to myself. When I realize that I'm a very shy person, and I'm coming for example, this kind of program, I, like the first day she told me, I'm like, please, is my face going to show? And I said, are you serious? I'm going to be in life. And I told myself, Bossa, you can actually do it. Don't think, because I have this phobia, and this phobia of my voice is very low, and it has started since secondary school. Anytime I talk, I feel like, people don't hear me. So I'm always having a fear. So, but now I tell myself I can do it.
You know that is a wound. It's an inner child wound.
Yes, an inner child wound.
You are afraid to express yourself.
Even my siblings will tell me, Bossa, when you're talking on the phone, we don't hear you.
I think you're afraid.
If you say it now, you know, they don't hear me, and I'm like, is my voice so bad?
Have you tried to find out where it stems from? As in that
I think for me, my dad was very harsh. But my mom, I'll tell you, my mom was very quiet. If you put my mom somewhere, you meet her there. So I got it from my mom, the quietness, but for my dad, I just don't like trouble. I avoid trouble to the extreme, so I just like to stay to myself.
And you got wounded.
Yes.
So this is one of the lessons.
But we are like the opposite. We are like the opposite of one another. Because sometimes I am talking and someone is like, there was a day I was talking to her and she was like, she said it like, I'm like, Bomi Opayo. And that day, that was the second time somebody would be telling me like, Bomi Opayo. I'm just a naturally loud person. Like my voice is really loud. And if sometimes it feels as if I'm very defensive.
Yeah.
And it came from the inner child trauma that I'm also trying. So it's like for her,
but for me, it's the quietness. I'm so extremely quiet. My brothers will come in. If when I was younger, I don't want my brothers to actually talk to me. The first thing they would do, that's and they were always doing that to me. But I never let people touching me. Don't touch me. Just leave me, But the else I went and growing up, I did boarding as a primary school child, so I didn't have friends. I would just go on and on myself on my own, and that's what happened.
And I thank God for the kind of husband you have. For someone like you, if you have had an abusive partner, it's someone like you that won't want to talk.
Yes,
she won't want to speak out because her voice, she can swallow up a lot of things. That's the consequence, the effect of being too harsh on the child.
So when I got married, there was a challenge I had. I'll tell my husband, don't you want me to talk? So my husband said, talk now. So please let me talk. So I realized that later in life, this man is not saying I should not talk. Fight that inner man. Please allow me to talk. So later I said, Pastor, you better calm down. This man is not after you. Just say what you want to say and express yourself.
I'm just enjoying the fact that we are just the opposite of one another. Because for me, my mouth is like, and it's like, man, calm down now, man, calm down. It's like, her own is talk. But my own is I'm already talking and saying, calm down.
Because of that calmness, I'm not really working for you.
That's very good because it has its flaws and its also. But I really think we should be able to balance the things as a parent. I remember when my husband, my son told me something that, mommy, will you shout if I say this? I was like, will I shout if I say this? That day reset my brain that it's like shouting has really affected this child and it has made him to go into his shell by not being able to express himself. So if he's going through pain, through wound, he will say, mommy is going to shout at me. So he would rather keep quiet. So as a parent, the way we relate with our children, the way we respond when they say they want to talk to you, it really affects them a lot. It gives them wound that if they grow up to, they might swallow a lot of things that they should have rejected. Like you, someone like you, God forbid, it's not going to be going through an abusive relationship. In fact, as in this one, this generation is a Sorosoki generation. And I want us to see, thank God that we are raising confident girls now. They have the confidence to be able to talk, to express themselves. No child, in fact, once they see the traces of abuse, they speak up, they speak out. So give your children that opportunity, that avenue to be able to confide in you. It helps their inner child to grow well, so that by the time they grow up, it builds them up and it helps them to express it. So sorry for that breaking transmission. Yeah, we were discussing a lot of things behind the camera, and she just said something now that some people might be asking that, what is an inner child? An inner child is that part of you that connects you back to your childhood as in that feeling, those feelings that connect you back to your childhood, that even as an adult, you know, you still feel the way you were felt, as in that vacuum, that emptiness you felt when you were a child, you still feel it as an adult. So that inner child is that part of you that still want to be like a child, that part of you that still want to be loved. You know, maybe you were abandoned, you were not loved when you were growing up, and you know, you grew up to be an adult, and you still saw something, you saw a pattern that made you remember that, okay, I think I experienced this. This is what really happened, because it's going to trigger some emotions in you as an adult. You know, like the instance I made earlier, that a child that is always abandoned, that is not really cared for when she was young, if she or she grows up, you know, to be in a relationship whereby the husband or the wife is not always available, you know, abandon her, as in, you know, there's emotional abandon too, as in, that you just leave your spouse, you think you are still married, you know, married but living single, but he is not there for you, she's not there for you, you know, you still feel abandoned, you still, that pain, that emotion you felt when you were a child, you are still feeling it even as an adult. You know, a lot of people, you know, they really need attention from their spouses, not because the spouse was not there, but because as a child, he or she lost that attention as a child. He was not given that attention. So he expected, okay, my spouse should be able to fill up the vacuum. So if the spouse is not now there as an adult, he now felt that pain. So that is the inner part of him expressing itself as an adult. So for people that don't really understand, okay, what's this inner child about? It is that part of you that still connects you back to your childhood, that maybe the wound you went through as a child, and you are still feeling it when you feel you experience those patterns to even as an adult. So that's an inner child. So it's normal for everybody to have an inner child. It's not a crime. Everyone, yes, and that part of you that still connects you back to your childhood. Yes. So I think to wrap up, we need to just wrap it.
Okay, so I was going to say something to you that time. Children can be very, very funny.
Okay.
So when I mean, growing up, at some point I had a very good relationship with my mom. But I just realized after I saw rest in peace, she's late now. I had to take myself back and remember that till my mom, you know, till she went to be with the Lord, I didn't discuss this thing with her. And we had a good relationship.
Wow.
I went through this thing twice as a child, and I didn't not that she offended me, or maybe I was intentionally not wanting to say it, but it just didn't occur to me. It didn't occur,
or there was a reason why you felt you didn't want to talk about it.
There was no it didn't even occur to me to discuss with her. And that brings me back to that inner child thing. There's so many, and I'm still, you know, I still remember, and I feel like that part of me can be very toxic. You know, I'm only just being intentional about it and trying to work on myself. So many of these things children have gone through, and they will not discuss. You will, no matter how you ask them, yes, no matter, they might not even remember that part to discuss it with you until years later.
So what brought that memory back to you again? Would you have rather preferred to discuss it with your mom then?
It would have,
now as an adult. I know you remember it now as an adult.
It wouldn't have done anything, to be honest.
Even if you had discussed.
Even if I had discussed it, wouldn't have done anything. Nothing would have happened.
Was it because it didn't really affect you as an adult?
I would just say it.
Did it affect you as an adult?
I would say that I went through child molestation twice.
Okay.
As a child.
Okay.
And if I had told her, what would she have done? Nothing. The only thing now is I feel like it has made me so toxic when I feel like I'm an advocate.
That's where I'm coming to.
I'm an advocate for child molestation.
You were toxic because of that.
I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear. That is why I feel like me as a person, like I said, I'm working on that part. But me as a person, I'm very calculative about my girl child, my baby girl. You know, I'm very calculative. I don't want to see. Sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm trying to talk about the effect of that now. See, it's now affecting your being overprotective or your
being overprotective.
Yeah.
Because these are conversations that me, I have it with my husband, and we don't reach a conclusion.
Conclusion on it.
We don't reach a because I'm like, me fair. This kind of things. This is my limit. This is the limit that can happen. This is what I can. This is what I can't take. You know, you can't. When you go through these things, they affect you. They affect you. I don't want to hear. Me, I just tell myself that when it gets to 11, I'm going to organize a team of child molestation. I'm an advocate.
like a campaign.
Because I don't want any child
yes.
to ever go through child molestation. It's not good. At that time, you will not know until you grow up. I'm sorry. But until you grow up.
Every girl and I think is prone to that, but it's your ability to actually overcome it. I realized that
and even speaking out now, it shows that okay, you are healing because you identify that it made you to be toxic. You understand? But I will still feel perhaps you have told your mom. I don't know, maybe the way your mom responds to issues like that, it would have made you heal earlier.
Okay,
I don't hide it. I discuss it.
So
But I never discuss
you
it.
would
with my
have.
mom.
she didn't. You know, parents of nowadays, we are trying to be knowledgeable. You want to be informed. You want to ask your son, your daughter, what are you going through? But then
they never ask us
not because they were wicked, but they didn't even realize that sitting a child down
No.
ask. So
my mom didn't talk to me about menstruation.
She did.
She did this.
My mom did.
She didn't talk to me, so she just expected I should know this thing myself. And I was feeling bad that how won't you teach me something like
my
this?
child tells
So
me
that really affected me from
a lot of things now because we are informed.
That really affected me from even saying things because I was very calculative about who I talked to, and in fact I was very careful before even talking to me because I know who do I now trust.
But you didn't tell your mom not because you didn't want to tell her, but because you feel telling her was not
it won't
necessary.
change anything.
But a girl child will want to tell you now because every day you ask how you feeling.
You communicate.
How you feeling? Communication is very key.
So as parents, as 21st century, please, we should be informed.
We should ask questions.
Ask questions. And don't try to be judgmental on your children. As when they tell you they are going through something, as in be open to them. Like I said, that my son told me that mommy, will you shout when I tell you this? That really reset my brain that okay, this boy has seen me as a shouting mom. So I have to just retrace my step and see how I could just be open and allow him to confide in me, to tell me. Now he tell me about anything. He tell me about his crush and everything. So this really builds a lot of confidence in our children. So healing an inner child, it starts from number one, identify the trauma and where it comes from. Then number two, what is the reality? Is that the reality? Okay, if you went through the process of abandonment and you feel maybe you are not loved, or maybe went through guilt and shame, maybe you went through abuse and you are beating yourself that oh, it's because I did this that I went through this abuse, it's because I worked carelessly, you are blaming yourself that okay, this is the reason why I went. No, that is not the reality. Accept that yes, you are loved, you are important, it's not your fault. So don't blame yourself. So accept it. Accept that. Don't go through that guilt. Then if you've been neglected, know that you are important, that you worth much more. If Osinachi has seen that yes, it deserves more than what she was going through, it deserves more than the abuse she was going through as an adult. How will a grown-up woman, as in your husband, will tell you that the children should be beating you because of what? It's because she doesn't really know that she deserves more. As a woman, as a guy, you deserve love, you deserve to be cared for, you deserve, as in all those pamper. Is good to all the good things in life, you deserve them. So don't see yourself as if you are not important. You are important, you want much more. Then number three, talk to a trusted person. Have a gist body that you talk to, that you know that this person, anytime, any moment, he is not going to condemn. If you can't afford therapy, that will be the last option I'm going to recommend. If you can have a therapy, have somebody that you can confide in, that you know that okay, this person is going to help me. Then last but not the least, go for therapy. As an adult, go for therapy. There are a lot of things that we carry on that from our childhood that we have not been healed of, and we are really transferring that aggression on our children, on our spouses, the way we relate with people is affecting them. So in order to avoid all these problems, please go for therapy. Talk to a professional that is going to help you go through this healing process. I believe you've learned something on this. Do you have any final notes before we just wrap up the show?
What I would just say lastly is that please, as we're helping ourselves, let's also help our children. Let's be there for them. Let's understand so that they will not go through the same challenge that we have gone through growing up. So teach a child to love your child, hug your child, encourage them, be there for them, so that they will always grow up to be an healthy child.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
healthy parents.
All right. Thank you. Okay.
Okay, yeah, I'll just say go for therapy. If there's anything you are going through, you know, the inner child trauma, even as an adult, you know, you need money, there's so many things. Just go for therapy. You know, and these days online, I'm seeing some free counseling clinics.
Yeah.
Just, you know, register, call them, let them call you, and just talk to somebody, talk to the right people.
Okay,
Yeah.
and what I would say lastly is, it's okay not to be okay. Yes, it's okay not to be okay. You are human. It's okay. You could feel sad. You could want to stay alone. You could just want to be on yourself. It's okay not to be okay. So don't feel that, okay, because I feel to be loved, I feel to be cared for. Why am I feeling this way? It's your inner child asking for that. Please pamper yourself, treat yourself very well. Self-care is important.
Yes.
Self-care is very important. Find ways to take care of yourself, take care of your mental health, because it is when you are healed as an adult that you can raise a better child, a functional child. A dysfunctional adult will obviously raise a dysfunctional child. So get healed yourself as a parent so that you can raise a better children in this 21st century. So thank you very much. On this note, we are going to wrap it up. Next week, I'm going to invite a professional, a child counselor, is a colleague. She's going to be joining us here next week to talk more about this, because why we are here is just to make things better, to raise better children. I said something some days ago that dry fish, you can't bend dry fish, you know, but if it's still fresh, you can still bend. So you can, to build a healthy adult, you have to start from childhood.
Yeah.
You can't change a grown-up man or a grown-up woman. You know, we can just help them to be better. But for our children that are still coming, we can still make it better by raising well-behaved children in this 21st century. So thank you very much for being a part of this week. Join us again next week as we come up and we continue this again, still talking about raising children in the 21st century. So, and to my ladies here, Aleda, that's your name, Aleda Mo. I just call her Yeti Mama, Ale, Sister B, Mama B, Lady B. Yes. Thank you very much. Till we come again next week. Bye. On Facebook, bye. Thank you for joining us. And bye-bye.